Okay, we are live on the air, at least the Google Hangouts told me. Yes, they will be sending out data usage on this. I don't know. But hopefully someone will pop in chat for this unscheduled Life in Linux number 2. We finally got our schedules to match. Thanks to the internet gods, we have Ignore My Chan. Welcome.
There you go. Woo.
How's the sound? How's the video? I know my lighting's off in here, but it's good enough at the last minute, so. Good evening, okay. So we'll give this a few minutes because it wasn't scheduled.
Yep. I got
tonight's
chats.
topic, we'll talk a little bit more about what Ubuntu is trying to do, and Switch has an update to that. So we'll give it a few minutes here.
It was going to be on my tinfoil hat time agenda, but I really want to wait until they actually release the next Ubuntu for sure. I have a daily build running over here right now. Actually, I like I'm impressed with the daily build. I think I'm actually going to review it here soon.
Okay. All right.
Maybe this week I'll do it.
Yeah, I think I'll hold final judgment to the final release.
Yeah. I just didn't do any daily builds. Just I got so soured on 17. I just stopped caring about Ubuntu for a while.
Okay. Albert Crow, hello. But yeah, we'll talk about that and focus on that, what Ubuntu I think is trying to do, good and bad. But on my live show, I said it was major uncool. A lot of you agreed. We'll see what they do with the final build, which is when's the freeze on that? Next month, I think.
I'm so out of the loop with Ubuntu. I don't even know it's on the.
Well, it comes out in April, so I would assume the end of next month if I had to guess.
Yeah, usually I think the feature freeze is like 6 weeks out, and then they'll do. There's 2 or 3 different freezes, and I just forget. Okay. Which one were which? Okay. I'm gonna actually pull up my video as well for see some of what some of my comments say.
Hello, Tim F. He says, "What I asked when you guys would be together the other night. You are, and I'm off for a dinner commitment. Oh no." Sorry, Tim. We've been trying since last month. Go ahead and you can replay this.
A lot of it's my goofiness because usually Sunday is bad for me and Saturday is good for me. But I had I usually do that because of co-host usually is with me on Sunday, and we've had to move our plans around to Saturdays a couple times, and that's what threw things off. So.
Sorry, Tim, but just blame it on Switch. No, I'm
just blame it on me. That's fine.
We came this close last week, but at the last minute something came up, and I was like, well, the show must go on.
And that was my fault too. I mean, I gotta say.
That's okay. It went well. So this is officially Life in Linux number 2.
Officially, yeah.
Yeah. So
I will start out by saying the YouTube demonetization bug is running all over my channel again. My video on this was demonetized today after 24 hours. It's just, and of course it's already crossed that 1,000 view mark, but it's going to be 2 or 3 days before they actually review it, and they're like, "Oh, this is okay." It's like, I get what YouTube's trying to do, but at what point in time do you mark a channel as safe unless you see something really out there? Because, I mean, I have never had a video.
I know. It looks like you froze up there. Switch.
That was demonetized.
Okay, there we go. You're back. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, YouTube. I know they're trying to do something to to appeal both to the advertisers, the money people, and us. It's a mess, and I knew something was up last year, actually a year before. I just had a feeling, that New York instinct, like, oh, forget about it, something's gonna happen. But I didn't know how bad it would get, and there is no alternative. I looked into the Amazon tube and through their filing. I think they're serious. I mean, really, really serious to do it. I think it'd be great. They have the resources to pull it off.
Yeah, but they don't have the ad network yet, and that's the thing. Because if I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to put things up, I'd like to be able to monetize the channel. It's not that I'm all about money. It's that welcome to America. We actually have to pay our bills, and that's what it's got to be. So
no, it's money is the tool. I see money as the grease to keep the channel wheels going.
Yeah, and eventually I will to a lot of other platforms. It's I will know when it's ready for that, because it's going to mean that a certain percentage of income comes from this, a certain percentage of income comes from other things. You know.
Tom, go ahead and state where you are at on Patreon, the web address.
Yes, I'm at patreon.com/Tom M, TOMM, which is kind of annoying that you can't actually search for it and find me. Last time I've ever known, I can find TechBismo. I can find Technobismo's site by searching on there, but I can't find me. Searching Linux, searching Tristan, searching cooking. I can't find me at all. And I got 3 different things I'm over there on. Can't find it.
All right. Tonight when we're done, I'll put the link below. Look, that's the reality of the situation. None of us want to focus on fundraising. We'd rather focus on content, like what I used to do. It's because the AdSense was enough. It paid the bills. It bought a couple things here and there, but now it's the opposite, and I despise it. But that's the reality of it. So, Albert Crow, Merry Melodies, do you prefer a laptop or a desktop? For what I do, and probably for what Switch does, I'm guessing desktops for both of us versus a laptop.
I'm actually 50-50. You need to have some degree of portability, and you need to have some degree of sit down. And so, like, I have. I don't know, what do you call a Mac Mini? I don't know if I'm guessing that's a
small boxy thing.
Yeah. So I have 3 active desktops, and I have 3 or 4 active laptops, depending on where you pull things out, just because I have different devices dedicated to different things. And so it really depends on your lifestyle. So me, there's times I'll take my office on the road for a while. And if I take my office on the road for a while, I need to make sure everything is perfectly consistent on that.
Yeah. I use my desktop 99% of the time. Now, I did do a test install of Peppermint OS on one of my laptops, but I did it without the mic on, so I'll probably do is pull it, insert it here, just do a voiceover. But it's just convenient because everything is set up. My desktop plays nice with Linux. Everything's set up the way. It's just a matter of convenience. But certainly if you're on the road, obviously, laptop is the way to go. Hi, Ben, Pizza Loving Nerd, Rose from Canada. We'll give it a few more minutes, then we'll get into the topic. But probably, if I had to guess, most YouTubers in general, not just us, probably would prefer a desktop. Because that's what they're used to, and the power behind a desktop versus a laptop having a separate keyboard, mouse. That's my guess, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and I do have one laptop that is fully set up for video production, which isn't all that slower. But to think about the power and thing, my video production computer, that's got 32 gigs of RAM and a quad-core processor. It works a whole lot better than a little integrated laptop system.
Yes.
So, that's the thing. And I can record a whole lot better on it. Although that both computers are capable of recording 2 HD streams simultaneously. But
somebody asked me the other night, what computer should a YouTuber use, or what do I use, or something. That depends on what you are going to do. I'm running my Lenovo test machine that's 7 years old. It's outdated. It's only dual core, only 4 gigs. But you know what? I use it because it absolutely loves Linux. I can't do multitasking that much, but for this it's fine. Even rendering a video, if that's all that I do and nothing else, it's okay. I don't recommend a computer like this for someone doing YouTube, like a lot of video. But when we're talking about Linux, sometimes it's hard to find that marriage of distro and hardware compatibility.
Yeah,
and this one rocks. It rocks.
If we're talking though about what it takes to make a YouTube channel, I tell people start with what you got. I mean, I started with. I think all of my videos are done with my Logitech C922 camera, but I actually had about a dozen videos recorded beforehand. I think I redid them all with the camera because it was a little bit better. But in reality, the very first stuff, I did more stuff on my Christian channel earlier than the Linux channel. All of those videos initially for the first year, every one of them was done with a cell phone.
Yeah.
And the cell phone is the better to go. Especially you can still go into Walmart today and buy a burner phone without activating it for $20, and it still has a really good camera.
You can get started on YouTube if you're really on a tight budget for about $100. You buy, like you said, a burner phone.
Yep.
Or you may already have a cell phone.
Yeah, and actually the first The first microphone I used for the first 6 months was just little
Yeah.
skull candy,
Okay.
$10 skull
Yeah.
candy thing.
A cell phone, maybe an external mic. Although some of the cell phones, the internal mics are okay, but a cell phone and maybe some kind of a gorilla grip to hold the phone, so you say you're walking or doing something.
Yeah.
You might want to get a tripod for that phone, a tripod mount for that phone.
Yep.
And maybe a separate webcam. $100 is plenty to get started. And then, of course, if you had a computer, then you can edit it and stuff. But you can get started for $100 or maybe even less. That's kind of pushing it. But and then if you got the budget, I would recommend desktop, at least 8 gigs, preferably probably 16 gigs, quad core, 3+ gigahertz, a decent graphics card. If you got about $1,000 to spend, I think you're perfectly set, in my opinion, to have everything: lighting, the computer, router, the whole spiel,
Yeah.
But to get started, you don't have to spend that money, no.
Yep.
But it comes down to really just doing it. Talk about what you like and what you're good at. I mean, maybe it's cooking, or maybe it's cars, and just get started, and then people will follow. But it can be done for about $100. Yeah. Okay. Spider Eyes, hello. Life is like a Linux distro. You never know what you're going to get. Well, Linux distros can be predictably unpredictable. That is true. I tested Makulu Linux Lindos. It ran great. Could not get the wireless adapter to work, so I kind of gave up on it. I didn't want to try to find a workaround or whatever, and I still recommend you try it if you have a spare machine. I think it looks great out of the box. It's one of the few distros where when you first look at it, you say, this is different. It looks pretty, my opinion. I'm not going to say it's going to work for you, but it's not the same old, for what I've seen. I know you tried Shift. Yeah, Shift I looked at. It didn't appeal to me for whatever reason, so.
Yeah, it's and I ran Makulu. Like I had a Makulu build a while back, which was okay, but it was. I mean, I'm starting to wonder at times. We have all these Linux distros, and do we have too many? Because it's like there's all these distros, and how many hits do they get with just people going, let's see what's on there? But how many people actually run these alternate distros? That's a curious question, because I mean, I think of it back at the end of the day, all these are neat, but would I want to run Makulu over a Mint? Would I want to run Makulu over, a Fedora or something else? And then you start to think, But on the flip side of that coin, at one point in time, Mint was one of those distros. Solus was one of those distros. Elementary was one of those distros at what point in time. So we got to give these guys a chance, but
I used to distro hop, I started my first Ubuntu in 06, and I really started hopping in 2010 on when I started the channel. And I got to tell you, after a certain point, I had enough. So I tend to pick more Ubuntu based. That was my first love. And once I got Ubuntu Mate to work pretty much almost 100% out of the box, what more can you ask for, really, when you think about it? The looks, the customization, the snazziness of it, that's fine. But man, I'll trade that in for stability 7 days a week. Because less time. One person said, Linux is great, but I don't want to spend my life solving puzzles. Fair enough. Fair enough. CM128D is in the house. The problem with Bakula is Jack is more interested in how it looks, how it runs, plus he switches to the next one before he fixes. Okay, all right. Again, I went by the looks. I did an install test, easy installer. It ran okay, to be fair. The wireless didn't work, but that being said, again, there are many choices out there.
Yeah.
Why don't we get this started? I think we have enough people for now. So, welcome back to Life in Linux number 2. With Total OS today, yours truly, and Switch to Linux. We finally got our schedules to match. So here we is. Tom, how are you?
I am doing well. How are
Excellent.
you?
I'm doing good. I had my dinner, so my belly's full.
I have not. My belly's empty.
Drink, water. Okay.
I eat late though, so.
All right. Okay. Sometimes I do too. All right. So the latest Ubuntu news is, as a lot of you said last night, is uncool. there was some confusion if Ubuntu does it, Ubuntu with GNOME, core Ubuntu. Does Linux Mint does the Linux Mint team have to follow suit? Ubuntu Mate and the rest? I don't think so, because I believe that is a feature that can be inserted or not into the respective operating system. I think, but if it's going to be, if that feature with data sharing is going to be implemented through all the distros, I'm out. I am out. So
yeah. So let's dissect what all is going on and what all is collecting, because there certainly is some misunderstanding
Yes.
in the community about three completely separate things on this, and we need to keep those in mind. The first is the basic fingerprint of your hardware, and I still have an issue with this because a fingerprint can allow you to be identified. Particularly, we're talking about journalists who need to maintain their sources and who oftentimes are targeted by governments or other people that they're doing things. Have that fingerprint is critically important, right? And this is one of the things that Tails does. The reason Tails is what Tails is it tries to have a unified fingerprint. So someone can see you're on Tails, but they can't see who you are because all Tails on the network look identical. And that is one of the power of Tails, is because it's about fingerprinting. If you actually go back and research what fingerprinting is on an operating system, it is a scary thing that can identify you. And so the first is a fingerprinting of your operating system, and this is embedded in the new 1804 installer. Now, the concerning part is that a lot of your downstream distros, Mint does, Elementary does, etc., they use Ubuntu's installer. So if they are adopting the new installer without modification, then those systems would collect the hardware configurations and send those along unless you opt out of it. I am guessing, and I don't know about the Elementary team, but the Mint team is not usually into that kind of stuff, and so I'm guessing they would probably kick it out, but I just don't know yet. I haven't seen comment. So that's the first thing. The second thing is Ubuntu PopCon, which myself and other people are saying popcorn. It's PopCon. It is really hard to spot. And thanks to the person who corrected me in the comments, and I forget who that was. But it is called PopCon, which actually is a Debian-based product. It started with Debian. In fact, Ubuntu's README page is a mirror copy of Debian's README page on Ubuntu servers. PopCon is short for Popularity Contest, and it is designed to collect all of the applications you have on your computer, when it was installed, when it was last run, and once a week via weekly cron job at Sunday at 6:47 a.m. sends all that information up to the centralized server. And that is basically what is installed, what is getting used. Of course, comes with a lot of information, including a UID, the ID of your computer, which can indeed tie it back, because that information is stored on their server. That information can be configured to the information on your computer, and they can determine exactly who you are based upon that number. And the third program is the app port, which is Ubuntu's auto crash reporting system. That you will probably have seen that pop up starting in Ubuntu 17. Every frequently, you'll get the pop-up, would you like to send the data?
Yeah.
Now, the crash reporting stuff in 17 was introduced but was not set automatically. In 18, as of the today, it's not activated by default, and I cannot see the new installer. That's not in the system as of yet. So there's three completely different applications. We need to keep an eye on all of them.
So there's nothing, these other distros, there's nothing in the underlying technology to prevent them from not inserting these features.
No. In fact, Debian will ask you if you want to install the configuration thing,
okay.
But it will not install it automatically. One person, I think QuibSub, he said that it did seem to install. I checked my Debian and it did not install, and so that's it. I'm gonna see if I'm just testing it on Debian right now. Okay, so basically, if you want to make sure popularity contest is not there, first, if you want to find it, if it's on your system, you want to check your Etsy folder. In your Etsy folder, you'll see a popularity contest.config file. That will tell you if it's installed in your system. Of course, you can remove it. And I'm just trying to see if I can remove it right now. So what's your take on all this while I'm fiddling with my keyboard?
I'm trying to be fair about this. I was just thinking, there's good and bad to everything. So just to be fair and somewhat diplomatic, what's the good side of this? If there is a good side. I mean, we know the bad side, but what's the good? Is there any good?
The good side is you can see what applications people are actually using on their computers.
Okay.
You can see it on a regular basis. They're updated weekly. And so it is a way to assess what applications people are using in the Linux community.
Okay, I don't find that that's good enough answer, just being a devil's advocate. Okay, well, I could see a good part, maybe bug reporting, fixing issues, maybe.
Well, that's what AppPort is for.
Ah, it's separate, okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
AppPort is specifically for bug fixes. Popularity contest only logs the information, like it only logs the data that you are, like the applications that you are using, how frequently it is used. Like, it's not even necessarily how frequently. It will record a list of, from number 1 to number whatever in order of the last time it was used. That's what it does.
Okay. Anything else that might be good to that feature? Because I'm not feeling it yet.
Not really.
Okay, fair enough.
And my biggest concern is, again, is the fact that if you go into that configuration file,
Okay.
by default on Ubuntu 18.04 daily build, what I'm looking at right now, what you will find in there is will find my host ID, which is a random string.
Okay.
No big deal. The problem is that random string is what is connected to their server. That is the thing that links their server to your computer.
Ah.
And so if you change it, it just adds a new account, and the old one just kind of stays how it is. So that is that's kind of what the issue is with that.
All right. So if I'm the judge in the court of kernels, Linux, the negatives outweigh the positives. Am I hearing this right? Maybe.
In my opinion, yes, because I'm a privacy advocate.
Okay. All right.
I see and understand the argument that says they're just grabbing the data, like what application someone's using, what use, what's the big deal about that? And the problem is it's the first step down a slippery slope, and that's the problem.
When I first saw that, I use a ticker app, like a scrolling news feed, that sometimes I'll turn on during my live events. And I caught that the Tuesday or Wednesday, just catching it. And my first thought was, whoa, that sounds like Windows 10, except it's Ubuntu.
Yeah. It's not as bad as Windows 10 because Windows 10 actually has the file name, etc., of the picture that you're looking at, how many pictures you've looked at. Even to my understanding now, the media codecs are even in the cloud now. People were having an issue with Napster because the WMA file format, people were having a problem with Napster. This was hilarious. You download the file from Napster, and people are like, I couldn't listen to it on my computer anymore without an internet connection. So their solution is don't upgrade Windows.
Okay. Well, with Windows 10, I do my extra privacy settings, but the problem is once you do a system update, they revert back to the unprivacy. Then you got, it's a cat and mouse game.
Yep.
Versus what Windows 10 should have done from the beginnings. Hey, welcome to the new and improved Windows 10. We collect data because, and list all the positives, not a problem. If you wish to turn everything off, here's the switch. One switch. If they would have been up front with that, no problem, because then you choose. The problem is you got to go into the settings one by one by one. And I think there's a setting in the registry, which I don't recommend if you're new to Windows Registry. You could do something in there that's more permanent, I think. But the problem is once you do the upgrade or the update, you go back.
Once you do the upgrade, it'll reset the registry.
And it's like Windows, Mike, it's not necessary. Because let's say, well, we collect data to avoid bug issue or stability to make better apps. Fine. Give me a choice to turn it on for a week, collect what you want, but let me shut it off with the ones. Kind of like a light switch in a wall. Off, on. Off turns off everything. On turns on everything. Problem solved. Nothing to gripe about. But they wanted to do it their way. And let's not talk about the forced upgrades that they kind of step back a bit. It's not good. It's not good. It's the politics that makes sense, and they took a beating for that. The worst was if you saw last year, there was a live newscast of the weathercast, and the lady's going through the motion. Tomorrow's forecast will be cloudy. Oh look, we have an upgrade to Windows 10 live on the screen. I mean, come on, man.
Yep.
No, so I can see Ubuntu going that way.
Mm-hmm.
So they start off somewhat harmless, but then where does the slope end?
In fact, when I downloaded this and it upgraded the system, guess what? I had to reboot Ubuntu. Now, I had the option to delay, of course, but
okay, all right.
I just had to pick on Ubuntu for a brief minute.
Well, I don't have a problem rebooting Linux because it's not as bad as Windows, right?
The biggest challenge that I saw with that update is it would not tell me what was updating. It's the same criticism I had of Elementary, is I couldn't see it, which I understand they fixed that in Elementary, I think. But I want to know what you're trying to update because, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
And I want the choice. Like for right now, for example, I'm on Debian right now, so I'm on my Debian computer right now, and Skype wants to update. I am not letting Skype update. I blacklisted the Skype update because this is the only computer that Skype consistently works for a 30-minute or longer conference call.
Really?
Yeah, there's something about the new version of Skype on this particular hardware on any Linux Mint build that doesn't let Skype work well. It works, it just doesn't work well.
Okay.
I am not risking letting Microsoft update Skype on this computer right now because it works. And I don't want them to break it. They keep breaking Skype.
I get it. I use Skype. Sometimes I'll call my dad in Italy, and it seems to work. I'm not on there 30 minutes plus. But you're right. Once you get certain distros and certain apps to work with that distro, you're like, don't touch, don't sneeze, don't touch, don't breathe, leave it.
Yep.
But that's probably true with Windows and Mac, if I had to guess.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
If that, of course, I banished Skype from my Windows computer because it's like, hey, great news. It's like, you forced me to update it. Great news. You won't have to be forced to do this. We're going to do it for you automatically. Uninstall. Nope, not playing that. I did lie. One of the other computers that does work fine on is my Mac, because Mac has this thing where it doesn't force updates on things, which is good. Now, of course, Microsoft still would have the power to kill that server, but I don't see them doing it at this point in time.
The latest Skype for Linux is pretty good. It installed fine, it's smooth, it seems okay. The Skype for Windows seems to work. I really haven't tested it for more than a few minutes. I used to do some of the news and nonsense with Stephanie Forian for a while back. Sometimes we would talk for more than 30 minutes privately, and it was fine. It didn't crash or nothing. But it would be nice to know what is being changed, upgraded, shared, and all that. So getting back to the issue with this Ubuntu thing and the new, what the one website called it, data slurping. God, that one made me laugh. I can see the potential problem with this, where this could lead down the line. I remember the backlash with Unity and the Amazon link. I just turned it off. No big deal. But it seems like now that Canonical has dumped Unity and going full speed with GNOME, and that's their choice, and that's fine. I'm not a GNOME desktop personally. I never really was, I suppose. They're looking to, I think they're just looking flat out how other ways to monetize what they have.
Yeah,
To a point, I can't blame them.
Yeah,
To a point. To a
I
point.
haven't seen the evidence that that's what they're doing, but being as that there is a Microsoft connection to this company, I see that as a down the road thing.
Okay.
Microsoft is open that they're collecting this data to sell you ads. Canonical, I have not seen that discussion. They're all gauging everything as for the betterment of the user, and I don't trust any company with that type of data.
Okay.
Okay, suppose I want to get into the field of high risk, start having these deep dark secret connections with Edward Snowden and other people hiding out in Russia or something. I don't want a fingerprint of my computer out there. Now, I don't do any of that stuff at this point in time, but I'm not beyond it, but at the same time, any data collection that I don't agree to is too much data collection. And I don't care if that's my system configuration or whatever else, because if you want to get some scary stuff about what you can do with that, look into what you can do with a computer fingerprint. It's stuff I don't want out there. And it's stuff we should have the choice to have out there. I should have the choice to say, push the thing, submit the crash report, or this is the app. I don't want that stuff going automatically. And yes, I know you can disable it, but the point is that they're moving in this direction, and that's disconcerting enough.
So there's no limit, there's no stop sign to this collection.
Well, that's it. There never is.
I'm just looking at the comments real quick. The initial others don't know how to configure their Windows Update settings. That's a user error, not a Windows problem.
Well, no. It depends. It depends. So the thing you're talking about in the Register Enterprise Edition would do that. Now, if it's a big news show, it's probably an Enterprise Edition for sure. But yeah, that is an element for sure. Somebody did not configure that right. But they could very possibly, if they were a small station, they possibly are just going to Best Buy and buying stuff. Which would be a home editions. If you're using a home edition, no, you can't turn that off. Not without, you might still be able to. I was able to do it by running a shell script that completely got rid of everything Metro. That got rid of it. Every bit of it.
That's drastic, though, yeah.
Very drastic, but actually that was my preference for that.
Okay.
But you're right. If that was an enterprise, you're right. There are people that don't know how to configure their Windows. But that's how you find it. People are firing and laying off the people that know how to do this stuff because they're too expensive.
I did notice in the latest update to Windows 10, how it says, "Hi, welcome, setting things up." It did come up with a few more extra privacy settings. Do you want to share this or this? And click yes and no. So I did like that part. It's not enough, but at least they were more upfront. But in my opinion, there should be one newbie switch. Yes to share everything. No. Period.
Yep.
No configuration files, no registry hacks, no scripts, just on off. No problem. Not a problem.
And I would probably still be on Windows if they had that. To be honest, because frankly, Windows works well.
Putting aside the politics, look, the gaming, video streaming. I noticed in OBS with the latest upgrade, they took away a few features that's still available in Windows 10. Not maybe more than two, but one or two. It does work. Windows 10 does work.
Yeah.
The problem is not the core underlying technology.
However, the core underlying technology is going to get worse with the new S mode, because what we're going to start to see, I believe, is that the S mode should be enabled by default, is to my understanding. So if you buy a Windows home computer, the upgrade is free. But if you buy a Pro computer, it's still going to cost you $50. And apparently these are going to start to roll out around April. And that means that you are getting a walled garden system that you can't make those adjustments to.
Okay.
And that's kind of crazy. I want to focus on this comment here real quick, though,
Go,
if
go.
we're done on Windows.
Yeah.
Colin Brash, my son works at McDonald's. Dropped him at work yesterday. Got home, and Google asked me to review my McDonald's experience. Creepy! And this is why I do not allow Google on my phone, and I have very dedicated places where I log into Google, and that is it.
It was just a friendly question, right?
It was a very friendly question.
Sometimes I'll go to McDonald's more in the summertime for their dollar coffee any size, and I'll sit outside because a couple of the McDonald's here, there's like outside benches or whatever. You can sit down. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the receipt, and sometimes it'll say on the receipt, log in, do the survey to get a free sandwich or whatever. So I've done that a few times. Now that's okay because that's my choice. That is my choice. But something like this, what Colin went through, it's like, all right, McDonald's, who gave you permission to ask me or to?
Or is it well, it's back end deals between McDonald's and Google. It's the same thing Google is grabbing.
Right.
Google now has access to pretty much every credit card transaction you do, whether it's on the internet or not.
That's scary.
And this is what they're doing with it is they're trying to track down who's doing what. That's creepy stuff.
C128D is saying Home and Pro gives you the option to set active hours where it will not reboot. You can set it up for 18 hours. You do not need Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, what I'm talking about is a different issue. Where in the Enterprise you can completely stop all updates for a longer period of time. In the Home Edition, you cannot.
Okay.
And I don't know about Pro.
Is there any Windows Edition where you can turn off all the telemetry, period?
Enterprise.
That one you can. Okay. Yep. Okay. But that's a more expensive one, obviously. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
What about Mac OS? How bad are they?
Horrible.
Okay.
No, I mean, you know what I like about my Mac is I'm still running Yosemite because I ain't upgrading that thing. It works.
That's like 3 stages back, isn't it? Or
yeah, I think I bought the Mac in 2015, and I haven't upgraded the operating system since, and I'm glad because everything I've seen from Sierra to High Sierra, or whatever the nightmare they're coming out with next, I'm seeing Apple has seemed to have borrowed from Microsoft's playbook as well. I think they've laid off their QA team. I haven't heard anything about it, but I think they have because so many problems. My Mac works. I have seen horror stories about a Mac that works perfectly fine. You upgrade it, it starts running slow. They are doing the same thing with the phones. Why? Oh boy, this Mac just needs an upgrade. I have a Mac for very specific reasons so that, I can do some things on the Mac. I can help people troubleshoot Mac things. But I'm not going to sit there. I'm definitely not in the Apple ecosystem. I don't ever connect. I have a Mac, I have an iPad, and I have an iPhone. None of the 3 know that the other one exists. I kept it that way.
So with Mac, you have a choice. You don't ever have to upgrade, and
Correct.
It won't force you to.
Yep.
So that's good.
Even programs. Of course, the bad news is if there's a major security vulnerability, it's going to be a problem. But
okay.
I'd rather have that risk and that be my responsibility than them force an update and break something.
At least there's an option. There's that on-off switch again that I was talking about. So we'll give that one to Mac.
Yep.
I have an iPad mini. That's as far as my exposure goes to Apple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't use it as much as I thought I would. I'm using more my Alexa, but
yeah. Well, I think that there was this period of time when tablets were going to take over the computer world, if you remember, and I think they were a novelty that wore out. Even now, I want to replace I have a nice Android tablet that eventually it just died not long ago, and I actually want to replace it. So I'm just kind of pricing things. I want to replace it with something that I can put Lineage on and things like that. Mostly because I want to use it as an e-reader and just a little trinket if I'm out and about, just something quick.
I use my tablets more in the spring and summer, like if I'm in the garage cleaning or something, I have it with me, and not to take my phone and drain the battery and all that. Yep. But in the wintertime, I have 3 tablets. I don't use them. I have a 10-inch Toshiba. Now it's got to be the most user-friendly tablet because it has all the ports, HDMI, USB. I mean, it really is. It's outdated, but I rooted it and got all the junk out. It's a little bit slow, but it still works. But having all the ports right there is that should be a standard feature for a high-end tablet. Period. But it's not. So having full ports, all the sizes, you know. Let's see here. Colin says, your daughter's 21, just bought a new computer, wanted to set it up with one admin account and one standard user, runs like Linux, knows she just wants to input email, not interested in your knowledge. So you want a simple computer, or she wants to keep it simple, Colin? Is that what you're trying to say? Ben, you're a gamer, no Linux benefit.
I'm not seeing that comment. I'm on Top Chat. What is this? YouTube is gone crazy.
Yeah, I noticed it. Is it I see it now.
Yeah, they have the pull down now, and the default is Top Chat, and you need live chat because I missed half these comments.
Okay.
Because of
you have now I see it. There's a choice.
Yeah, and it defaults to the one that limits things out. It's really annoying.
Okay. Yeah, that was from Colin. Ben says he's a gamer. I think with Linux, gaming is getting better, but it can't compare it to Windows. It just can't, at least not yet. Let's see. Yeah, C128. It is my Toshiba Thrive. I got it on clearance, used for like $100. I couldn't pass it up. I just couldn't. It still has the original battery after all these years. But having the HDMI port comes in handy. USB, micro. It's just nice. But like I said, I use my tablets. I will say about the iPad Mini, great battery life. I bought that one refurbished through the Apple Store. And that's nice to have extra battery life. But speaking of batteries in general, they suck. Technology for batteries has not changed in 25 years.
Yep.
I don't know what the holdup is. I'm waiting for the nuclear reactor battery to kick in, but no.
Yeah. Well, speaking from a chemist perspective, I don't really see the battery technology changing a whole ton because there's really a finite amount of things you can do to get electrons to move from one end to another.
Okay.
And what we have is actually pretty good. And there's been some tests and some organic things, but there's not a lot more than that.
Wasn't there something new that was announced a few years ago? Some new chemical or mineral from the mountains of Nevada they were mining that might change. You know what I mean? There was some news about it. I can't think of the name now.
Yeah,
I can't think of it. Yeah.
It's not inconceivable something else might come down that's better. It's just it's kind of hard to beat some of the stuff that we have now because the other factor it's one factor about the charge ability. The other factor is how well can you reset that potential. And that's the real thing that with the lithium ion batteries we have now, resetting the potential is completely flawless. What you need is a chemical reaction that does not emit a liquid or a gas, and that becomes very difficult. And so because if you emit a gas or something in the chemical reaction to transfer the potential, it's evaporating from the system and you can't reset it. So there are multiple issues with batteries. So I'm not super surprised the battery tech moves.
It just seems that after 25 years, I'm like, come on, man, forget about it. Let's get something better.
No, in reality, batteries have changed quite a bit. Because 25 years ago, you couldn't get rechargeable alkalines.
Okay, all right.
The rechargeable batteries you had back then, remember the nickel cadmium or the mid-90s nickel cadmium. Those things were horrible for the environment and they sucked. You recharge those things, and we'd put them in our remote control cars, and you get 10 minutes. Car dies, then you got to recharge the thing for another 18 hours to use it again.
They've gotten better. I will grant you that, but the capacity technology of the battery has not kept up to what phones can, especially with the advent of smartphones.
They have. It's just that every time the technology comes out, they're making the phone thinner, so you got to make a smaller battery.
Okay, all right.
If you went back to the bigger phones again with the bigger batteries, you could get 4 or 5 days out of these things if they stop making the phones so stinking thin. Who wants these thin phones? I don't want a thin phone.
No, I don't mind phones not being like a brick.
Yeah.
But I might have to fact check this with my X-Files show, so sometime in the future switch. But no, batteries I think suck for phones. I just think it just I don't know, maybe it's just my New York attitude kicking in. But I still have the HTC One Max, even though it's outdated. Battery life is not bad. Even today, it holds a pretty good amount of juice for what it does, you know. And I stuck with Android because, as you'll know, Apple tried to pull the fast one with forcing you sort of to upgrade their phones because they were tinkering with the battery.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You know, I have an
Go for it.
iPhone SE, and I have never had a single time where the phone reboots, slows down, or anything because I didn't put iOS 10 on it.
Okay.
I even think the shutting the thing down. I mean, this thing will frequently get down as low as 10%, 8%, whatever, and no problems.
Okay.
Never a problem.
So, but is the phone still secure? Relatively secure without...
Well, I mean, I don't put boatloads of crazy apps on it.
Okay.
All my phone is used for is so that I have good internet when I'm out and about. I check my
Okay.
email, and I occasionally get on the internet. That's all my phone is used for.
Okay. I guess
So,
that's good enough.
I don't need the latest iOS because I'm not putting the latest WhatsApp, the latest Facebook, the latest whatever other cloud applications on it.
Speaking of Apple, did you see... I caught it today. I was going to say some, but I'll wait. Or I'll just mention it now. Their new Apple headquarters, that circular spaceship in California. Did you see, because of all the glass, the employees keep running into the glass because their hands are like this.
And they're putting up sticky notes, but the other guys are coming through and taking the sticky notes down because it destroys the aesthetics.
Well, that's the... Duh. Oh, God.
So they complain to OSHA.
Honey, I'm running late for... Oh, okay. Can I sue them? Do I work here? I can't. Oh, man. That is so funny.
Undoubtedly, there was
It does look pretty, though. I mean, they had like a drone. Sorry, I mean, it does. I will give them credit. It looks nice, but God, that's got to be embarrassing.
It's like everything else in it. It looks beautiful, and it's completely useless.
Well, I don't know if it's... Yeah, it just made me laugh. There was another...
It's a joke, yeah.
I know. But there was a store, a new store. It wasn't in California, where they had to put up signs, careful, the icicles might kill you or something.
That was Chicago. That was Chicago.
Oh,
yeah, they had to
God.
quarantine out the location because they made it beautiful and dangerous.
Hey, how do you like your new phone? It's great. Ah! Oh, God. Look at the comments here. Sneaky, you have to go. Okay, cool.
Small lithium battery packs for solar. Yeah.
Solar?
Currently, right now, when you have a solar setup, of course, you run it down through, and you're generally storing that data in a deep cycle sulfuric acid battery. And that's generally the way those are done. But yeah, and which is the most dangerous part of running a solar setup is the battery packs. So yeah, if you could come up with really good lithium battery packs for solar, that would be an awesome thing.
There was something I read where future phones may have the actual screen to use it as a solar recharger. I don't know how real that is. Like a solar cell built in the screen itself to recharge the actual battery.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, there's already outdoor backpacks you can get that will supply you, you know. So that wouldn't be a bad thing to throw into a phone. It depends. The biggest challenge with doing something like that now is like a deep cycle battery that they use with solar can take that type of charge back and forth. A phone battery can't at this time.
Okay.
And so that's one of the challenges why you don't necessarily want to do that, because if you take your phone and plug it in, unplug it, plug it in, unplug it, it's going to damage the capacity of the battery. And you don't want to do that. Deep cycle batteries for solar systems, they don't have that problem at this point.
Okay.
But so...
Did you see C's comment?
You
want to read it? It's pretty funny.
Which
right
one?
above Logan's. Hi, Logan. I'd have to agree, C, yeah.
Right after?
It's
right before.
Yeah.
Vet your nose out of the phone and you won't have a problem. There you go. Okay, get your nose out of the phone and you have a problem. Nothing wrong with Apple's building. 100% user error. Absolutely. I mean, then they're holding their phones wrong, and they should put that smart speaker on something else. I mean,
I have no problem with it. It just made me laugh when I saw it. It's a beautiful building crash. They're putting those sticky notes, and Apple's like, come on, guys. The point is to make it pretty.
of course. I used to complain about that, even in grad school. Like, dang, I'm old. I'm getting old. I think I finished that like 10 years ago. We had this parking lot. It was so dangerous pulling out of it because the campus, of course, made life so perfectly beautiful. Get down there's this row of trees. It was wonderful. You just could not see out the driveway. The amount of people that got hit right there pulling out of the parking lot. It was aesthetically beautiful, but it was highly dangerous. And we need to avoid that kind of stuff. Sometimes
on History or whatever, they'll have a show called Engineering Disasters. It's like, what were they thinking? Logan Graham, if you can avoid the lithium batteries exploding,
just don't eat them. Just don't eat the batteries.
Yeah, did you see that? Oh my God, I don't know what's up with people today. Down in the Tide Pods and
what is better? Is it better to bite a Tide Pod or better to bite a lithium battery? I mean,
so the question is, what is less painful?
I mean, I'll tell you, when the guy bit the lithium battery and exploded in his face, no one was actually hurt. But Tide Pods have actually killed people. So I think the battery is safer. I just thought.
You would think because of the chemical reaction and the fire hazard, the battery would be not as safe. I can't believe we're actually having this discussion.
You think,
is it okay?
Except it just blows up so fast. It's like flash paper. It's like you can burn flash paper on your hand. It won't hurt you because it's so self-contained.
Okay. All right. It just scares me what comes after the Tide Challenge. I don't even want to go there.
Some people were talking about bleach, but that was actually a holistic medicine thing.
Getting back to the topic at hand, does Ubuntu lead to sucking down Tide Pods? Yes. No, just kidding. I don't know what. I will wait. As far as Ubuntu goes, right now I have to say it's all cool. Let's do a quick poll here, since we're on the subject. Do you know Ubuntu is going to change the default setting to sending your Slurpee? They're going to slurp your user data to see what you're doing. Are you guys cool or uncool? Just write cool or uncool. We'll take a quick poll.
Yeah.
Or you can write not sure or wait till the final release. Fair enough. Those are your three choices: cool, uncool, wait and see.
Yeah.
We got about 25, 30 people watching.
Yep. Well, I'm
chance
showing 33 right now is what I'm seeing. So.
Okay, now I see it. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Your chance to vote. Cool, uncool, wait and see.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong answer, by the way. It's just your feeling. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I know you're an Ubuntu Mate guy, but I'll tell you that I've Linux Mint still works a whole lot better.
Okay.
I had lived for 6 months under the delusion that the CD-ROM I had on my computer, which I paid $15 for, it's just a crappy CD-ROM.
Okay.
I've been trying to extract some files from some disks, etc., and it just wasn't working right. And I've always had to use this computer that I'm on here to do my file extractions on. And I was in the middle of something last night, and so I'm like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and install the applications and start working with that on the Debian system. And lo and behold, it wasn't working for me. So I'm like, shut down the computer, boot it back into Linux Mint, CD-ROM worked perfectly. I lived under the delusion for 6 months that my hardware sucked. It was my software.
Okay. Well,
and there's not a lot of difference between Ubuntu and Ubuntu and Linux Mint, but the Linux Mint team just nailed it.
No, I believe you. But if it wasn't for that, Mate would have been perfect.
Yeah. Well, no, because I actually on the same computer I can't stream on Ubuntu Mate. On like running my full OBS setup.
Really?
On this computer, I can't stream with Ubuntu Mate. I tried it once, and it just kept on. It ended up freezing my screens too many times. I've encountered multiple issues like that. So I'm like, maybe I just need to change my distro. I don't know.
I'm not sure what would be causing.
I mean, it's not like it's a low-end computer. It's the highest-end computer I have.
Not a problem with Mint. But
No.
there's a problem with Mate.
Yeah. Now the thing I could try, I could
know.
try it again with the new hard drive. That hard drive was an older hard drive.
Ah.
It wasn't a super old hard drive.
Okay.
But it was older for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall ever having any issues. The only bug, if you want to call it, is sometimes on the panel it'll crash after reload it, or for the network icon it'll show double. Oh, I got double the speed. No, it doesn't work that way.
There you go.
But other than that, it's. I mean, look, it's not an LTS, so expect bugs, I suppose. But overall, I'm impressed. Anyway, I'm looking at the poll here. Cool, uncool, uncool, uncool. Not
So
sure.
it looks like we got.
What's this?
Looks like we got 2 cools. We got 2 or 3 not sures. We have 1 uncool.
Wait and see. C says 128D. Cool. Okay. So uncool. Josh Cha. And Arita is in the house. Welcome. How are you? Uncle waiting to see. All right. So there's a little bit of
Mixed
wait
bag.
wait and see what the final verdict is. But it seems to be leaning more towards uncool, which I'm leaning towards now. Okay. So Joe is saying Rocco streams just fine on Ubuntu Mate. Okay. Well, I wonder if it's the setting in OBS. I stream when it comes out on YouTube. It transcodes into 720. Are you doing 720 or 1080? Mine is 720 because it's good enough. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was streaming 720, or no, 1080. I was streaming 1080.
Okay.
Rocco streams just fine on Ubuntu Mate as well. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that it's, you know, it was indeed the hard drive. That's somebody who commented in my thing. You know, I bleep every now and again. That's probably because this is one of my USB keys. I'm literally running this entire stream we're doing on a media computer on a 32 gigabyte USB drive. That's the power of Linux, though.
Yes.
That I'm running an entire operating system like this off of a little USB drive, and that will occasionally cause the hiccup as it catches up with the camera and everything.
Got it. Okay. It's almost like magic. I mean, the last couple of distros I've tested, I ran it off a USB stick. It runs. I did take Makula Linux, as I said. I did a full. And some of you had issues on how to ask how to install Makula. It has an automatic installer. You can just use that. But it ran fine. Peppermint OS is in my Toshiba. Man, that sucker just flies. So I may keep it. I don't know. Tim says, checking in from the restaurant. Got here just to eat. But Saturday night is bingo night at the local. Wife says we're playing bingo.
Bingo! Bingo! Please the wife. The stream will be online later.
You can replay this. I won't edit it or anything, you know. But sorry, Tim. Tim, did you say cool or uncool, or did you catch the poll? Are you cool or uncool?
I don't think he caught the poll.
Okay, Tim, are you cool or uncool? Not sure about Ubuntu now collecting your data to improve the user experience. Most of it seems here, it's uncool. Some of it cool, some of it wait and see. It just seems like we've been down this road before, and it's no one likes it. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but Linux Mint Cinnamon, you like World of Linux? I have that on one of my ThinkPads. It is pretty good too, yeah. Time you use Linux Mint Cinnamon right now? Okay.
Pretty much everything.
Okay.
I run Linux Mint Cinnamon.
Okay.
Anything that's production-wise, because I don't have any problems with it. Any of my more experimental devices, they just kind of rotate around.
How many monitors do you use when you run the live sessions?
Two.
Yep. Like one on each side? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I keep one for, you know, comments and news articles. I keep the other for OBS and YouTube stuff.
Okay. One more quick poll before we wrap this up. It's 8 o'clock. Does anybody, putting aside the telemetry, does anybody here like Ubuntu with GNOME versus Unity? I don't. I don't think you do either, right? Okay. Just type in yes or no.
Yeah, I'm actually I have in my virtual machine, I have the daily build of Ubuntu 18.04 right here, and you know, it seems to be working better than it was before. But
Okay.
I definitely like GNOME better, or Unity better. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah.
One
I
of
would
the
have to
biggest
say.
thing for me is I absolutely hate the Nautilus file manager. It is
Oh.
so horrible.
Okay. All right. I don't. I didn't have a problem with that. No.
Yeah.
Some
Well,
couple
what I
no's,
hate
some
about it
couple-
is I've done a lot of things where I need to transfer big files back and forth, and transferring big files back and forth, it gives you the little gear pop up inside the Windows Manager, and then half the time it invariably covers the other things that you need to be grabbing, and then it just gives you the pop downs. I prefer that separate window like everything else. Like there was like Unity wasn't. I didn't despise Unity at all. It took a little bit of getting used to, but it really grew on me a lot. But I just... the GNOME they have is better than
Okay.
the stock GNOME, I think. But
Okay.
I definitely would have
Okay.
preferred Unity.
Fair enough. Checking out the comments real quick. Okay. Ignore my chain. You like GNOME on Ubuntu on the notebook? Okay. All right. When they start to do dummy-proof things, goes down the toilet. That's GNOME. Okay. Nautilus is annoying. Can't really say any file manager's been annoying for me. That's like the last of my worries. File manager. I just don't want it to crash. Be stable and work.
Well, and I have Nautilus crash a lot.
Wow,
I
okay.
have Nautilus crash a ton.
Okay.
And on different distros, different systems, different
Okay.
whatever. And
Okay.
the other file manager I hate. Oh, Rocco's gonna hate this. I hate Dolphin. I love KDE, but I hate Dolphin. To me it feels very slow and very enamored. Try and
Okay.
move something, and I always get this couple second wait, and then, you know, of course you can disable the, you know, would you like to move it here or there, you know, but
Dolphin has a lot of extra features in it.
And that might be the problem.
Maybe
might
it's
be
too
the problem.
much.
maybe
Some consider it the best. It does a lot, but maybe it's too much.
I find Nemo to be the best in
Okay.
Linux Mint, which I
Okay.
think is that also the one they use in Peppermint, I think.
I think it might be. Yeah.
The only downside, actually, the one I liked even better than that, whatever was in the original Ubuntu Mate's file manager, whatever one that one is, I forget what it is. What is it? That one might be better than Mint's.
I don't know. Kaha? I think it's Kaha.
That might be it. That is
It is
actually one in
Kaja.
Peppermint too.
Yeah. Okay.
What the
All right.
only thing I don't like about Nemo is, and it's getting worse actually. This is the problem that's getting worse with Nemo as it progresses. Trying to transfer multiple files, you need to wait in between things. But what I find is, as I'm transferring a big file and then attempt to open something like the home folder, it has to wait until the previous file is done downloading before it opens. That is stupid.
Okay.
Which the Ubuntu one, I've never run that problem. Kaja, whatever it is.
Joe, you like MX17? I have tested that MX17. It seems nice, fast and easy, at least in a virtual environment. So, Clive, you like Plasma? Okay, all right. You know, my first test, my first love of Linux was Ubuntu with the old GNOME 2 look, and here I am years later, back to the old GNOME 2 look in Ubuntu Mate. There's something to be said for simplicity, and none of this data stuff. You know, like this data sharing stuff, at least not yet.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
on topic, let's go back to that because a lot of people have asked about that.
Yes.
You're not at risk of a problem maintaining updates. It's like Windows 7, Windows 8, they're backporting all that telemetry from 10. But on Ubuntu, the problems are those three applications: AppPort, PopCon, and the installer. Those are the only three applications. So if you're already running Ubuntu now, you don't have a worry about, you know, continuing to update. Just watch out for those applications.
So I guess the solution is, if you really like your Ubuntu GNOME and that feature is there, make sure you shut it off. Make sure you unclick it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the solution is?
Well, unclick the one in the installer, and then uninstall the popularity contest app that comes installed on Ubuntu 18 now. And then, make the decision about app port as well, if you want that to report or not. Obviously, I don't mind, if I'm looking at development or a beta, I don't mind app port being turned on, but I don't really like it turned on otherwise. I don't. If I find something a consistent problem, I might let them know about it, but oftentimes I just did something stupid. I don't necessarily need
Okay. Fair enough.
need Ubuntu to know.
Okay.
But that's
I'm not crazy about no, so for me it's not an issue. Let's take the last question here. Something different. What about the snap package stuff? Snap packages in general, from what I've tested, seem to work. The snap package for Skype is okay. The app image for Kden Live, I downloaded that. Works fine. Works actually better than the deb file. So about as far as snap packages stuff in general, I think that might be the future, as far as having one quote standardized package system for Linux-based systems. That's my guess. I don't know. Because from what I understand with snaps and flat, all the dependencies are already there. There's no extra packages, pieces of software to install to make it work. So it's more convenient. That makes sense. It just does.
Yeah, it's more convenient. It takes more system space to use them, I think, because you'll have, if you have 5 packages that all use the same dependencies, you'll have 5 copies of the dependencies in different places. But I think that's a decent trade-off in this day and age.
It's because that's one download and you're done. Whether it's Kden Live or Rhythm Mock, it's just one download done. Not like, error. I got to find this. That's a royal pain.
But in reality, though, a lot of your distros checked for your dependencies and fixes them for you. And so I get it. It's definitely better for the distros that don't check for those dependencies, but I don't know. And I did run into a problem installing Linux Mint on somebody's computer where we tried to start with Ubuntu Studio and there were problems with dependencies, and it's just like we couldn't get the stupid things off. And using the app image thing would have probably resolved the issue better than
probably, because it's one click, go, and you're done. Kind of like Windows, dare I say, Anyway, on that high note, I don't have anything else to say, Tom. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's those are our thoughts on the latest Ubuntu news. Wait for the final. You would have to think that canonical Ubuntu will be listening to its users,
and they seem to do things right around March that seem to make no sense. It makes me wonder if they go to some Woodstock hippie conference in the middle of January, March, or something. Because they just make these crazy harebrained moves. Like last year this time, we just decided we're going to get rid of Unity 8. Okay, Your distro that's coming out next month is supposed to be based on Unity 8.
Just as I was getting into a groove, I had Unity on 2 machines. I was getting into a groove. Everything worked, and then Canonical says, "Forget about it."
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, forget about you too.
I, for one, I was very pleased they decided to go with Unity 8 because Unity 8 was a train wreck. That was a train wreck, if ever I've seen one. Now, I wish they would have just said, hey, we're going to keep doing Unity. And in reality, they just released another Unity just the other day. I think today I saw it.
Yeah, 7.4.5.
4.5, I think. So it's it would be way better, I think, if they just went back to Ubuntu with Unity. I mean, we got Unity. It's still there. Now, I understand why they didn't, because the Linux desktop is not nearly as big as the Ubuntu server, and that's where they're putting their dedication right now. But I'm not sure I agree with many of their other moves.
see what he says. The Linux universe will never allow anything standardized. Never will.
Yeah, I'm not even getting new comments anymore. I think my page has just crashed. Let me just reset, because I
went on to live because I was stuck on Top Chat too. I went to live chat and got it.
No, I was on live chat too. This new comment system keeps crashing stuff because you'll think there's no more comments. It happened to me last night too.
Okay.
So I'm still, let's see. Okay, there's that. Yeah.
We'll make this the last call for comments, then we'll wrap it up.
Right. Fine with GNOME. Okay, so he's fine with GNOME. Runs just fine for me. That's why I created drives to take my install difference to 1804 nightly. Cool. What is a good file manager, though? Oh, I think we already talked about that.
You like Kaha?
Yeah, Kaha. I like Nemo. I like Kaha. Nemo's getting buggier. It's Nemo's Linux Mint 17.3. Like perfect.
Okay. Enrita says too much forks on GUI things goes down the toilet. Not always, but that's usually the case. A lot of things can get forked up, as I say. Uni is great because people don't want to go into Linux. Well, what was special about Unity, because of how it was laid out and the layout of the GUI, it was a signature OS in the sense that when you saw it, you didn't say, gee, let me guess, that looks like Unity. You knew it was Unity. You just knew off the bat. With these other distros, you're not quite sure. That kind of looks like this. It kind of look, but with Unity, they had something special because it was, at least look-wise, it was a signature GUI on it. Anyway, they're gonna move on with GNOME. To this day, I'll never forget when GNOME 3 first came out in 2011. Linus Torvalds, GNOME 3 is an unholy mess.
And
I didn't say that.
Changed.
He said it. I actually defended GNOME guy. It's not that bad for those developers, but I thought Unity was easier, and still is. But Linus Torvalds, bless his heart, what is this unholy mess? That was funny, and that's a statement that'll be there for history, for GNOME 3. What can I say?
Yeah, well, at least that was kinder than what he said to NVIDIA.
Yeah, he gave NVIDIA he gave them the finger. This is the wrong finger, by the way.
Yes.
That was funny. But that's strange because from my experience and what people say, generally speaking, NVIDIA usually plays nicer than AMD with Linux.
It didn't for a while.
Okay, all right. The pixel waste is strong in that one. The pixel waste, I don't know about that. When you went to Ubuntu 17.10, the GNOME version is available now. Had a lot of problems with the Unity bar inside GNOME. Joe says, I love to hear Linus' opinion of the static collection feature. He's going to give double fingers.
Yes. You know who I'd like to see comment on this even more than Linus? Richard Stallman. I'd love to see Richard Stallman's comment on this.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would be something.
I'd like to see Richard Stallman and Linus Torvalds in a conference call about this. I'd pay money to see that.
That would be the rant of the year for Linux, maybe of the decade. You know, because Richard, for what he insults you in a calm, gentlemanly way. Linus Torvalds, he has the Finnish attitude of the New York style. What's your problem, man?
That's right. I will tell you what I think your distro the same way I tell you what I think you're driving.
Exactly. Anyway, I have nothing else to say on that topic, Tom. So yeah, I think most of us agree right now it's uncool. We'll wait to the final verdict. I don't think that the other distros that are based off Ubuntu will have to follow suit. I think the technology is there not to have that in there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's open source, so it shouldn't be a problem to pull that kind of stuff out. But,
right, and I think in their respective blogs, Mint, Ubuntu Mate, they'll have something to say about it. They'll probably say, we will not be implementing this feature. Business as usual. That's what I think is going to happen. They'll have a blog soon. Maybe after watching this live stream, I don't know. But I don't like GNOME to start with, at least not for me. So that's not going to be an issue. So, and there you have it.
And I'm the same. I just don't care for GNOME. And I use it a lot for people who are like, you haven't given it a try. Oh, I've used GNOME
Multiple
a lot more than
times
you
I
think.
have. I just cannot get into the workflow. The extension sometimes works. Like, come on, just let it work out of the box. And one last thing I want to say. What is it with weather apps in Linux in general? You know, with the Mate desktop, right-click on the panel, add the weather applet. It works 100% of the time. I got PepOS installed. I went to right-click the applet. There's no weather app. It's like there's a disease, weather app disease, in Linux distributions in general. It's hard to find a good, out-of-the-box functioning weather app. Do you know why? Because I do not.
I don't know. Somebody actually said, Clive Joe said, I'm a Plasma guy. You know what? I use Plasma on my media PCs. Plasma has a weather widget that is absolutely amazing.
Okay, cool.
And in fact, I have it right on my desktop right here. I can tell you, yep, it works perfectly fine. It looks beautiful. It's tied directly into the look of the GUI, and it's awesome. And I've seen some that are okay on GNOME, but I've seen some that are not.
I like the simplicity of the app in the Mate desktop. Just right-click, add the applet, put your location, and bam, it's right. It's not fancy. It's kind of like reading almost it off the Weather Channel. There's no graphics on it or nothing. It's just text, and that's how I like it. But that's me. So, we all want to know how many people are running Linux. How else can you do it? If we want accurate stats, not guesstimates. What is?
I don't care if we have accurate stats. I don't want accurate stats. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's actually actually a post on Linux Mint's forums about the data collection.
Oh, there is now.
Have a look what they say real quick.
Okay.
Now it's probably from a user. I don't know
okay.
if they're.
Okay.
Let's see. Will Linux Mint follow suit? Let's see if there's anybody from official from there. Oh boy, I think the same guy that's on my forum. Calm down, you can opt out. He's over there.
That's a fair statement, yeah.
It is, but at the same time, it's not good that it's implemented by default. This guy here is straw manning the argument. Oh, if you want to avoid data collection, stop using social media sites. Well, that's a nice implication that the original poster is on social media. He probably isn't. You know?
I like Anna Rita says, privacy is like a shower curtain. It's there for a reason. Good one.
Okay. So I'm not seeing anything official.
Okay. I think that'll come.
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm guessing we're going to see something official from it.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, this guy here seems to be more in the know. He's a pretty high level. Posts a lot to the Linux Mint forums. Says it shouldn't. Canonical have tried this before, and Mint devs always remove the canonical crap. Is what that guy says. And I pulled out his comment because he's a guy that comments on the Linux forums, the Mint forums a lot. So I would trust his view rather than the guys that this is his first level post. So in that respect, that's what I think. Oh,
yeah,
Kitty wants to come and say hi.
Okay.
Hi,
Tony Simon says accurate stats would be nice, but not at the expense of privacy. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Hello, Spad de Silva.
The kitties wants to come and say hello. Hello, everyone.
The kitty's saying, forget the privacy. I want my treats.
That's right. Kitty's like, give me that kitty.
Nice.
I think I gotta talk so that the kitty's in the microphone now, or in the camera. Say something, kitty. You want to talk, kitty? You want to talk? Yeah.
The kitty's like, just put me down and let me eat. Put me down.
No, he's actually purring up a storm. He's not gonna go anywhere.
Okay.
Like I'll stop holding him. He's just gonna plop down right there.
10-1 Wimpy will discuss this on one of the Jupiter Broadcasting shows this coming week. Martin Wimpress. He may. I actually sent him an invitation last month for another podcast with me when he has time. They normally do the Ubuntu podcast, but they take a break this time of year. But I think they will start soon. They may, their next startup for the podcast, that may be their first topic. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll hear more. I'm sure he will, yeah. Um, you heard about that at collection of Ubuntu 10 years ago, and yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that was in 2011 with Unity. That's when Unity started. So, I think, yeah. I think that's all the comment. I don't think we missed anything, did we?
Yeah, there's just a couple more coming in, but
Okay.
Australia, we have a census every 4 years, and they want to know everything about you, and we want privacy. You get fined if you don't complete the form.
Really?
That's creepy.
Wow. I'm not sure I like that.
Yeah, the cat just yeah, this cat's not going anywhere. This is completely of his own free will.
The cat says, "Okay,
I mean, he's just like,
enough.
no, I'm chilling
Get
right
off
here."
the freaking net. You've talked enough. Where's my what do they call temptations?
Yeah,
You've talked enough.
You've
enough.
had your temptations for the day, though, Kenny.
Okay.
You can have some more tomorrow.
Linux Smith is removing the cat from Ubuntu. That's what I think will happen, in my opinion. They kind of do things their own way. Mint releases not on a set schedule. They release when ready. Is their philosophy to make changes?
Which is probably a better thing, because I think that that's really what killed the last edition of Ubuntu, is that it was just not, it wasn't done, it wasn't ready.
Yeah, right. They threaten to fine you here if you don't fill it out. Really, Joe? In the States? For the census? Eli, the computer guy, said nobody wants you to have privacy. Don't know about nobody.
Very few.
I don't know. Census in the UK every 10 years? Okay. I think it's the same thing here, right? I think it's every 10 years. I mean, what happens if you lie on a census? Nationality. I'm from Mexico, man. You smuggle drugs? Yes, I take lots of loads. Anyway, I had fun with my accents last night, but guys, that's it. I have nothing else. Tommy, if you have anything else, I guess we can wrap it up. It's almost 8:30.
I guess the only thing left to say is, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back with a 9mm Uzi.
That's right. And if Ubuntu finalizes,
Let me move 5.
they'll be terminated.
That's right.
Gecko joined in. You're a little late if you're joining, but just replay this. The accents come at the end. You see what I'm saying? The only thing Linux Mint barred from Ubuntu is the security update. They probably barred more than that, if I had to guess. I don't know. All right. Well, that wraps it up for this Life in Linux. Ooh, we went through a lot.
Yeah, we did.
So I don't know. We'll try to do one a week if we can get our schedule. We just happen to get lucky for this evening.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do. Maybe once a week on the weekends. We should probably do, if you want to do it. Yeah, Joe says, "Mamma mia." Yeah. Telemetry, mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
We should probably do is with these Life in Linux, like what we did the news and nonsense. Is like if Spatchy couldn't come on, right? We would have like guest co-hosts, so we can do that. I would not have a problem with that.
I think we need to figure out the best way to get the system working well, and then figure it out from there.
Right. Normally, I won't do it now because we're running over. But normally, I think we should start these with the relevant topics and maybe finish with a little funny, actual news nonsense stuff towards the end, just to kind of break it up. Not tonight, but But I think that's the way to do it. So, but that's it, guys. Ubuntu, work in progress. But I don't think the controversy will go away. So there remains to be seen how they will finalize it. But privacy, security, man, what a mess in general, in my opinion. Anyway, Tom, that's how I see it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. I think
All right,
that's
guys.
a good ending point. I guess why don't you tell about how you can support you, and I'll tell about how you can support me. And
Yeah,
things like that.
I'll have the links below when we're done here. But check out Tom at patreon.com. It's patreon.com/Tom M.
Yep, TOMM.
Okay, do that. And with me, it's PayPal. I didn't put the link when I get started. But PayPal is the best way. It's it's worldwide. I know some of you like Patreon, some don't. I'm not here to debate that. I don't have Patreon anymore. I did. Anyway, with my channel, go to PayPal. Sometimes I'll post some T-shirt links and the Amazon links, but the best way is through PayPal. I don't really have rewards set up like Patreon. I'm not sure how to do that. If you guys would like to donate to PayPal and sponsor the next a live event with specific topic and only that topic, that might be a reward. Or a live event, either my own or Life in Linux with Tom at a special unusual time for the overseas folks, that could be a reward. I guess the reward is that we're here. I mean, what do you want? No, I'm just kidding. But that's it, right?
That's right.
That's all that I have. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Well,
Yeah, and
on behalf of myself, Tom, and Kitty, peace out. We'll catch you on the next Life in Linux. Adios.
That's right. Bye bye, everyone.